What is going on, YouTube? It is Mr. Ferguson here once again. Thank you guys for coming back for another video here in Central North Carolina. Appreciate you stopping by in these winter months as we've been talking about different topics randomly. Last video we talked about gas-powered equipment versus battery-powered. A lot of comments on that one, so thank you all who commented and watched that video. And thank you so much for supporting the channel. As I always like to mention, as a short part of my videos, if it's the first time you're watching this channel, I am not a professional. I am a DIYer. I do it, everything you see, all the lawn care, everything I've done, I do it myself in my lawn, and I've learned via YouTube, through a lawn care plan, from Alan Hain, through videos from Pete Denny. I'm a do-it-yourself type of guy, and I just show you what I'm doing here in my lawn in Central North Carolina, my advice, my experience, but always seek out professional information for major jobs, major things. Thank you if you're new to the channel. Thank you for clicking on the videos. We just do tips and advice, and I've just blogged and vlogged my journey over the past 3 years or so, showing you the lawn that I have, and it can be accomplished. You can have a nice fescue lawn even in North Carolina, doing it yourself without a professional lawn care company. So thank you for tuning in today. Today we want to talk about, I want to talk about fungus, and I want to talk about fungicide, and I want to talk about that for the new lawn care people out there, new homeowners that may be watching the channel. You're going into your first spring, maybe you planted in fall, you just bought your house last year maybe, or a year ago, but you've just started getting into this lawn care thing. I want to talk to you about fungus and fungicides. But also, before we get into that, I wanted to say that I'm excited this year, guys, to show you my year 2 backyard. This is the first time I've ever been able to say that, as I've mentioned in bits and pieces throughout the videos we do here on the channel. The backyard that you guys always see behind me when I come out here in the winter and film on my back porch here, this is the first time I've made it. We planted this backyard in 2021. It survived all of 2021 into 2022. The summer last year of 2022, it made it. It survived with all the water, with the fungicides, which we're going to talk about, with the hydrotane, with the potassium, and it made it into fall. We put down pre-emergent. So far, I've not seen the first Poa annua seed head. So our pre-emergent of dithiopyr we put in the backyard on the both sides in the backyard behind me has worked so far as not seeing Poa heads come up. Today, as I'm recording, it's 55 degrees, so we're doing this wave thing as we always do in North Carolina. It gets cool and then it gets warm, and now we're on the warmer trend right now. But I'm excited to see as we survived 1 year with this backyard. Of course, it's GCI turf. I just had somebody asking on one of our dense shade mix review videos. We've got Jonathan Green that is on the edge of the tree line, but most of this is GCI Spreader Elite and GCI turf type tall fescue. I'm super excited to see, you know, how does it perform? Does it look any different? Obviously, with a year under the belt of this backyard, the roots are deeper. It's driving deeper. It's had a long time to establish, and hopefully that will only help it survive another summer even easier, because it's deeper in the ground and it's got 1 summer under its belt. So let me know, do you have a backyard or front yard that survived many summers without a lot of die-off at all? And did you notice that it was just kind of easier for summer after all? I'm curious. I think that would be the trend. But let me know. So I did want to mention that before we got into what we're going to talk about today. So with that said, I do want to make mention, I got to talk with Mr. Kevin. So, hey, Mr. Kevin, if you're watching this, here's your notice. I want to also, here in the next week or so, give you guys Mr. Kevin's review of the Yard Mastery backpack sprayer. I know spring's coming up. That's when everybody's going to walk out their door. Man, you know what? Oh, my backpack sprayer don't work. I need to get a new one. And you're going to be looking at, well, what's a good one? What's a bad one? We've talked about Flow Zone. Go check out those videos. GCI hooked me up. They're the kindest people in the world. They sent me a Flow Zone Typhoon backpack sprayer. I did a little review on it, talked about it. Check it out in my content history. It was a few months back. But I also want to, Mr. Kevin has the Yard Mastery backpack sprayer. I wanted him to talk about it, give you a review, his opinion, the price, and just have that here on the channel for people that may be interested in that. So look for that video to come sooner or later. And real quick, we're in the winter, we're doing quicker videos. I want to talk about fungicides, fungus, and my experience with them. And I don't have tons of experience with them, so let's quickly talk about it. I'm going to grab the tripod because my arm is killing me. All right, there we go. Much better. Now I can swing my arm and not destroy my shoulder. So real quick, I don't want to blab on. I just want to give some basic info to our new people. Thank you to all who just subscribed to the channel in the past year. Thank you to all the brand new homeowners. This video is more for you, in line with you. When I grabbed my first lawn care plan through Alan Hain, he's the one that put it out. I followed his guidelines and I grew grass, and it was beautiful and green, and it worked. So I give him the credit for that, for getting me started. And since I really don't follow his plan to the T like I did that first year, because you kind of, as he said, you'll get it once you start getting it into the mindset of how to grow grass, what it needs, when it needs it. You kind of don't need to go by the book anymore, but you can have it to refer to it. And one of the things that very first year that I've talked about on my channel and been open about is when I got to the fungicide part of it, I said, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. I'm like my dad. I'm like, this guy, whoever he is, all the professionals, lawn care, they're just trying to get money out of you. And I'll do the grass seed. I know that's important. I'll do the fertilizer. I know it's important to feed our grass. But when we talk about fungus and fungicides, it can't be that common. I'm not putting a bunch of money in this stuff that costs $50 and $60. I don't need it. Later on that early spring, I broke out with this orangey yellowish tint all over my grass. I had a video of it. I may place it here if I find it, but I broke out with fungus in my yard. I was like, crap. And it was scary because it was the first year I planted grass. It was beautiful green. After wiping off my entire backyard and planting grass, it looked amazing. And then this fungus comes and it's like, oh no, what do? It was my first real test as a DIYer, not a professional, not knowing what to do, never done this before. And I began to research, what is this? Okay, it is fungus, it's gotta be fungus, and what will cure it? So one of the things that I've always liked personally is propiconazole. Number one, because I don't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money to spend on lawn care. We're not rich by any means. We're in a small house. We've got normal, regular, average jobs, a preschool teacher and a city employee for a local municipality. We don't have tons of money. So propiconazole, obviously it said, hey, this stuff can work. You got to use a couple ounces, 1.5 ounces to cure things. And it only works for brown patch and other certain things, even though it may not be rated for that. I'll tell you that story in a minute. But look up the label. Always number one, look at a label. Look at, okay, let's identify if you ever get fungus in your lawn, you know, let's talk about real quick, when does fungus actually show up? When is the most common? Let me give you that. In my experience, when is fungus most commonly show up? And it's when the ground temperatures are changing or they're warmer, you got moisture and you got air temperatures changing. It's in those changing seasons. So when we're moving into spring and there's moisture, you know, the ground temperature begins to rise, the air temperature begins to warm up, and there's moisture in the air and water at nighttime and things of that nature, fungus can linger around. And obviously during the springtime and during the summertime, that's when you can see fungus most commonly, in my opinion, at least here in North Carolina. And like right now, people were saying in the fall, oh crap, I got fungus. Well, I think that's the grass going dormant. It's the cooler time. It's time for the lawn to go to sleep, and it will wake back up and green back up and liven back up here in the spring soon. But I wasn't willing. I was like, I ain't wasting my money on fungicides and all that. I don't need that part of the lawn care plan. And then I got hit with it, and here I'm like, crap, okay, bad decision. I learned my lesson. And so I got some propiconazole, I sprayed it, and I was thinking, okay, this should just make it turn green. Well, that's not how fungicide works, and at least not propiconazole. It stops the fungus from spreading. You're stopping the momentum of the fungus. You're spraying it. You're doing a blanket spray in your yard to make sure you cover it all, and then you're stopping it in its tracks. And then as the grass continues to grow, you're chopping off the fungus that's on the blades, and you're bagging your mow, and you're dumping it in the woods. And as the grass grows, you grow out a healthy blade where the fungus is now gone, and you clipped it off as you've mowed your grass. So I've used propiconazole. It's worked well for me. The caveat to that, talking with Ryan DeMay, I think. Ryan, I'm sorry if I said your name, Ryan and Matt over at Grass Factor, I asked him this question. I said, hey, if I use propiconazole every year, you know, like Advil, if I take an Advil every single time I get a headache, eventually that Advil is going to quit working. My body gets used to that Advil. So do we need to switch it up? And his answer was, technically, I believe he just said yes. If you're constantly using the same product all the time, all the time. Your grass can get used to propiconazole, and it's either going to take more or it's not going to be effective. And so I've tried to lay off the propiconazole a little bit because I want it to work. And as I mentioned with brown patch, I've had some outbreaks of brown patch. I've applied propiconazole in a heavier amount and it's worked. I've told you guys the story at my dad's house. Propiconazole is not necessarily the go-to for brown patch, but my dad had an outbreak right by his driveway, and he has some propiconazole because it worked for me. I told him about it. He picked some up at an Ace Hardware, ordered it online. He put like 4 ounces in a jug, mixed it up, sprayed it, and it cleared it up. So it worked. I'm a witness. I saw it. I said, where's that brown? Holy crap. I said, it cleared up. He's like, I just poured a bunch of that propiconazole you told me about and it fixed it. So it worked for the brown patch, at least in my dad's fescue lawn as well. So point being, azoxystrobin, propiconazole, that combo has been proven, and it proved to me last year it works. Any fungus I had was not a problem at all because I was doing every 20 days, I was using my azoxystrobin, my propiconazole, I was doing my applications, I was timing it on my phone every 21 days. I was putting that application down in the spring, and I never had an issue with fungus. Now, you can probably risk it and say, well, I don't have the money for azoxystrobin, I don't have the money for fungicide. You're taking a chance, you're taking a risk, but no, it is very common to get brown patch. It's very common to see, you know, rust and the yellowing of the blade and different type of funguses pop up. I learned my lesson that one year. It is common. The air temperatures, the ground temperatures, we can't control these things. Be prepared. Don't get caught off guard. And I'm making this video for you guys now so that you can stock up. I would recommend at least having propiconazole. The lawn care nut, I know Mr. Kevin has taken this advice. Azoxystrobin, you can find that in Scott's DiseaseEx in a granular bag at your local Home Depot or Lowe's. If you don't have the money for the liquid bottle, you don't have the backpack sprayer, you can buy Scott's DiseaseEx, spread that out. But remember, I believe it is exactly 23 days. Y'all have to tell me in the comments. I can't remember. There's an exact number of when its effective date is. It'll be either 21 to 23 days. I can't remember, 28 days. I can't remember, but it's that mark. So you want to go back a couple days before that, reapply, and stay under the coverage of fungicide just to be safe. But you can take that chance and spot treat if you see it. But I just want to make you aware, fungus is real. You are likely to encounter it if you're a new home lawn owner or just planted in the fall. This is your first year. Don't freak out. You got plenty of resources on YouTube, but I would have some propiconazole. Buy you a $50 bottle of propiconazole, have it on hand, or get you a bag of Scott's DiseaseEx, azoxystrobin, and have that on hand, and let's spray that. So thank you guys for tuning in today. Just wanted to do a simple video, simple topic, making you aware of these things. Ask your questions below. All my vets out there, all the channel veterans out there, leave your comments below about fungicide, the things that I didn't get into, mention them below to help out other people. Leave your comments down below. Thank you guys for tuning in once again to a Mr. Ferguson Lawn Care channel video. Hope to see you guys on Monday. Be looking for a video. Hopefully I can get one out to you, and check out the Mr. Ferguson vlog on Wednesdays. God bless you. We'll see you next time.